I fully believe in extraterrestrials. I do.
Oh, of course.
I had an experience when I lived in New York.
Let's talk about that.
Hell yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that was...
How old were you?
I was 14. It was 90... So, no, I was 13 or 14, whatever, 93. Where I lived in New York was a little town called Mayapack, and there was a lake right across the street from my house. And my buddy Paul and I, we were sitting out in the driveway in the bed of my dad's pickup truck, just bullshitting and watching just like crazy meteor shower going on. And he was like talking about how he had never seen a shooting star before. So I was like, really? It's like, we got a rowboat across the street. Let's go out onto the lake because we'll get a better view of the sky. So we rode, it was probably about midnight at that point. We rode out to the middle of the lake and we're chilling out there. It was the fucking starriest night I've ever seen, man. It was crazy. Like the sky was just a sheet of stars, and there was just meteor shower, just like I've never seen before. And we're chilling in the boat. Just he's laying in one section, I'm laying in the other. We're looking up at the sky, and we start talking about UFOs because my brothers had said they had seen something over the lake like a few months before or whatever. So we start talking about that, and there's planes going over and we're just being turds. We're like, oh, there's a UFO, being dumb. The whole lake's surrounded with trees, okay? And we're sitting there and Paul points off to the east and he's like, hey, Nick, there's a UFO. And I was like, oh, derp, whatever. And I fucking look over there and I see these 3 lights way up in the sky, like as high up as a plane. So I'm like, there's two lights on the outside, one brighter, one in the middle. And I'm convinced of a couple things after that night, and one of them is they definitely have the ability to bend time, because it went from as high up as a plane to right above the tree line in an instant. Like there was no you didn't see any fast movement. It didn't shoot over.
Are these dots, or you're actually seeing like a craft?
Well, at that point it was the lights in the sky, but when it got to the tree line, it was this giant fucking craft.
What? And
we're out in the middle of the lake and this bright light flashes on us. And I start rowing. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? Because the tree line's not that high and it's right above the trees. So I start rowing, and apparently I'm not rowing fast enough. And Paul pushes me out of the way and he starts rowing. And I'm like, fucking row. And
that'd be scary as fuck.
Dude, that's all I'm thinking about. I don't know if I'd be able to, man.
But where it came in was where we had to go to, because where my house was where like where it came in from the sky to the tree line was right over where we had to go to bring the boat. So we're crossing paths with this thing and it's just cruising right over our heads. And I'm not shitting you. It was probably about 75 feet above us, maybe 100 feet. It was lower than 100 feet. This shit was close. And it was just a huge craft. It wasn't perfectly round like you always hear flying saucers. It was kind of edged like a stop sign. Not the shape of a stop sign, but edged like that. And just lights coming out of all weird angles in the bottom, and all you could hear was this vibration humming sound. There was just very little sound, just this just hovering, cruising over the lake. And we're just looking straight up at the bottom of this thing, and we get to the shore and it's just still cruising. We're just standing there watching it, 1 foot in the boat, 1 foot out, just watching this thing cruising to the other side of the lake. And on the other side of the lake, there's nothing but woods back there. Like there's like a little bit of houses, and then right past that, there's just woods for miles. And it landed. And we fucking ran in the house, and we were just freaking out. And that, it was midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning at that point. And probably about 1 in the morning, anyways. And I go up and I start banging on my parents' door, and I'm trying to tell them what the fuck we just saw. And they're like, oh, it's nothing, go to bed. I'm like, it's not fucking nothing. I go back out into the living room, and Paul's just sitting on the couch flipping through the channels on the TV. And I'm like, dude, we got to go back outside. That thing's going to take off and we'll get to see it again. He's like, yeah, totally. I was like, yeah, we need to do that. And I walk over and sit down on the couch, and he's just flipping through the channels. And we just kept talking about going back outside. We never went back out.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
So I don't know if there was some form of mind control. They're like, you saw enough, get inside and watch your TV.
I'm surprised you didn't have any missing time.
I don't recall any kind of missing time. I'm not saying that bright light that flashed on us was any kind of abduction or any shit like that, but I don't know what that was.
That obviously made you 100% convinced.
Well, yeah, because being that far away in the sky, and for them to come, we saw them, and because they came right to us.
You know what?
It's a very rural
It doesn't,
area.
but just to throw this out there, it couldn't have been some type of military project, or there's no military bases over there.
No.
No.
And the crazy part about it, go ahead. Well, I don't mean to cut you off.
Well,
sorry.
I was gonna say real quick.
Bang!